shift our attention to the big Uttar Pradesh farm loan waiver. The BJP's new Yogi Adityanath government did its first cabinet meeting today. The big headline, of course, was the 36,000 crore rupee farm loan waiver, which will benefit 86 lakh odd farmers in Uttar Pradesh. Now, this is a bold promise, but the question we'll be asking on the newsroom is good politics bad economics? Is a message being sent to farmers that you don't need to repay your loan because there will be a loan waiver happening sooner than later? Here's the report.
It was the time for him to fulfill his party's biggest promise. And the new Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister delivered in style, as he has partially kept the promise of waiving off loans to distressed farmers. The government has decided to waive off loans more than 36,000 crores for 2.15 crore farmers. After the marathon meet, it was relief for the farmers with the announcement of rupees 1 lakh loan waiver for small and medium farmers.
और ये जो लोन है, ये फुल हम लोगों ने राज्य सरकार ने इसको माफ किया है. लोन अमाउंट बनता है जिसको माफ किया है वो है 36,359.
And that's not all. The cabinet has also promised to buy 100% wheat crop of farmers, also ensuring wheat centers for the monitoring of the crop. Besides farm loan waiver, the cabinet also took important decisions on illegal slaughterhouses, shutting down 26 abattoirs so far.
कुल 26 अवैध जो स्लॉटर हाउसेस हैं उनको ही बंद किया गया है.
The state cabinet stamped its approval on the anti-Romeo squads, blaming opposition for vilifying the move against Eve teasers.
हमारा एंटी रोमियो दस्ता बहुत ही अच्छा काम कर रहा है. कुछ राजनीतिक पार्टियों के माध्यम से इसको बदनाम करने की कोशिश की गई.
Yogi Adityanath's first cabinet meet has introduced a slew of measures for UP. The most important one being the farm loan waiver, which is among the biggest announced by a state government. The decision, which is sure to help the BJP in the 2019 elections, however, makes for bad economics. It will be a challenge for the government to cushion the blow caused by the waiver. Bureau Report, India Today.
Uttar Pradesh's new Yogi Adityanath government is claiming they have fulfilled their biggest pre-poll promise. But is good politics terrible economics? Is this setting a bad precedent? There's now a nationwide cry from different states that farmers there too get loan waivers. Where is this going to leave the economy? Are we penalizing honest credit payers, those who pay off their loans, and actually benefit those who choose not to pay their loans? Joining us on the Newsroom Showdown tonight, I want to begin by introducing BJP spokesperson GVL Narasimha Rao. Also with us is Dr. Ashok Lahiri, former Chief Economic Advisor, one of India's foremost political economists. R. Jagannathan is the Editorial Director of Swarajya. And we've got Sarvanan, he is associated with the DMK in Tamil Nadu. I want to go across to GVL Narasimha Rao first because it's a 36,000 crore rupee waive off. 86 lakh farmers are benefiting. You know, the BJP is jubilant. They're saying, Vada pura kar diya, we've done it. We've shown the farmers we could fulfill this big promise. But, you know, think about the economics of this. This is about 10.6% of UP's total budget gone in a flash. Now, this money essentially is being written off to send a message that you can be dishonest, not pay your taxes, not pay your loans, and you'll be fine. You know, what's the message? Why would anybody in the future pay his loan when he knows a few years down the line, maybe before the next government comes to power, there'll be a similar promise, and once again the loans will be written off, GVL?
Rahul, I don't think the farmers or any section of the society is so unwise as we expect them to be. They are far more sagacious than you and I. They are extremely, only the present situation that they are faced with in Uttar Pradesh after several years of drought, floods, and now hailstorms. I think, and given the misgovernance that has actually been going on in Uttar Pradesh for several years, I think the condition of the farmers was such that there was a demand from the people, and that's a part of the feedback mechanism that we have evolved in preparing our party's manifesto. And certainly we have made a commitment to the people, and we have come good on our promise, and we are going to be very, very fiscally very prudent. We are not going to be irresponsible. We will control the fiscal deficit so that it does not affect the overall economy of the state, and we will try and find alternate mechanism by which we can generate resources, and the state government has already given an indication of how this is going to be done. Certainly a large section of the population of Uttar Pradesh was reeling under economic distress, and which required to be addressed.
Okay.
And therefore, while we
you
talk
buy
about
this argument from the BJP
for every other sector of the society,
that there are real problems that farmers in Uttar Pradesh were facing. They were reeling under massive debt. The only way to revive Uttar Pradesh was by starting off from a fresh slate, the government promising not to be profligate and saying we will keep the fiscal deficit under control. Or do you think this is really a terrible, terrible precedent?
I think the precedent did not begin here. It began quite some time back when the UP announced the first set of loan waivers in 2008, and after that several other state governments has also done that. So now state after state is going to do that. You have Tamil Nadu farmers sitting in Jantar Mantar demanding the same, and some time back the Andhra Pradesh government and the Telangana government, after the separation of the two states, actually announced a very hefty loan waiver which actually damaged their fiscal balance. So while Mr. G.V. Narasimha Rao is right in saying that the central fiscal balance may not be impacted by this, but the state fiscal balance, which is a part of the overall fiscal, will definitely be impacted. Of course, they have a slight surplus in the short term because I think this 14th Finance Commission gave a lot of transfers to the states, but you're going to have a difficult year ahead.
Dr. Lahiri, a message being sent out that if you're a farmer, don't bother repaying your loans, because at some point in time in the future, Santa Claus is going to come, he'll give you a waive off. You know, they will write off your loan and you'll be fine. Is that the message you think that's being sent, or do you think that's really the wrong urban elitist way of looking at it, and we're totally disregarding all the distress that farmers in rural India are going through?
They sends the wrong message as far as credit culture is concerned. But you see, what Mr. Jagannathan said is right, that this is a competitive politics which started around 86-87. Remember Janardhan Pujari's loan mela? Then Rajiv Gandhi, he never actually gave a loan waiver. The loan waiver came with Mr. Devilal. So all parties are guilty of it. And if we are saying that BJP delivered on its promise, but what is the opposition doing? Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi's son, he said, Karja maaf, Bijli ka bill half. Tell me, show me one politician
but
who
there's a
stands up and
difference, you know,
says
with a
what the
party like the
need.
Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress, Dr. Lahiri, you expect that they would do these things. With a party that's supposed to be right of center on economics, and this is a Prime Minister who's spoken in the past against write-offs. He's spoken for creating opportunities, for enabling people to do better, for creating platforms. He has been against the whole culture of write-offs, hasn't he?
And I was delighted. But when I saw the manifesto had this promise. And GVL is right that BJP is only delivering on its promise. But if it's delivering on its promise right at this time of the electoral cycle, elections are 5 years from now, I don't know whether this is the best way of spending money. And it raises other questions. What is the jurisdiction of the state government on scheduled commercial banks? It can do it on cooperative banks. Scheduled commercial banks are regulated by the RBI. The state government, what they do, actually the politics comes in at the SLBC, State Level Bankers Committee, and that is where the pressure is applied. The banks are told you will not collect, they have to agree, because you can't fight with the crocodile when you are in water. And Rahul, the last point that I'll make, there is a very dangerous trend. Today, I think the Madras High Court has given a judgment that you cannot restrict relief to only small and marginal farmers. So now where does that leave us? Is this the, people are talking about fiscal deficit. Maybe Yogi Adityanath's government will control fiscal deficit. But the question to be asked, is this the right thing to spend money on?
Is this the right thing to spend money on?
Is availability of the problem?
Absolutely. And point number two, why would any farmer in the future repay his loans if he knows at some point in time he'll get a waive off? And point number three, what about competitive pressures? Your ally, the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, is after Devendra Fadnavis to write off loans in Maharashtra as well. How will you say no to Fadnavis without terribly troubling his government? The DMK is after the AIDMK in Tamil Nadu that there must be a big farm loan write-off. Now there will be a national ripple effect as a consequence of what's happened, GVL.
Yeah. You see, just because similar demands are going to be raised somewhere else, I think you cannot really not be just to farmers of Uttar Pradesh. And if situation in any other state, a special situation demands it, I think it is up to the state governments to consider this. This is a scheme that is being directly, the bill is being paid by the state government of Uttar Pradesh, and central government is not showing any favored treatment to any particular state. And I think when we raise questions about the profligacy, we talk about loan waivers, let us not forget, I think I think this has been the culture in this country. Thousands of crores of money has been looted by the parties in power. I think this government, we have shown at the center how you can rake in money by being transparent in auctions. And a party like the DMK, which was responsible for a 2 lakh crore scam, just in 2G scam and Colgate scam, those are the kind of scams that have been perpetrated by the government. And if our government wants to be more liberal,
has no locus standi asking for farm loan waiver-offs, given the huge corruption they perpetrated when they were in power.
See, that scam is not a scam at all. That is a fraud perpetrated by Mr. Vinod Rai, for which he is being abundantly compensated by this BJP government. Mr. Vinod Rai is responsible for BJP coming to power. He is abundantly compensated by the BJP government, violating all the constitutional norms. He has been given lot of posts by the BJP. So let the BJP, which is the single biggest beneficiary of this fraud perpetrated by C.G. Roy in the name of an audited report. When coming into the economics of this loan waiver, the DMK
but not you.
Approved in 2006, we waived off 7,000 crores of loans to the farmers. The GDP rose to an alarming extent. When the DMK government left the power in 2011, the GDP was 13%, which is one among the top in the country. So loan waivers, especially to the farmers, are very, very essential. It cannot be, it is not bad economics. I am asking, what is the BJP government doing in not recovering the loans given to high net worth individuals?
As more and more farmers get enrolled on the Fasal Bima Yojana, Prime Minister's Fasal Bima Yojana, I think the need for such waivers will completely evaporate.
Okay,
in a couple of years, if we are able to achieve 100%, 90% kind of coverage under Fasal Bima Yojana, we will not be required to give any waivers in future.
Let's hope that's the way it is one day. GVL Narasimha Rao, R. Jagannathan, Ashok Lahiri, Mr. Saravanan for joining me on the Newsroom Showdown tonight. Thank you very much. This is really bad economics. You know, let's just hope, and in some senses, it's inevitable. This is one of the big promises the BJP made, and therefore they were going to fulfill it. After 325 seats, there's no way you can make a promise with so much hype and not fulfill it. Let's just hope that what GVL said in the end is what comes true. Because you've now got a pension, you've got an insurance scheme for farmers if their crops go bust, that if there is universal coverage of, should hopefully ensure that these waivers are not required in the future. It's terrible economics, great politics. In the end, when there's a toss-up between the two, it's always politics that will win.